guys, it's Beth and Lonnie with Mountain Spring Homestead. Today we are processing our Cornish cross meat birds, and I'm going to show you how we do that. So if you want to follow along. The first stop here are our kill cones, where the chicken goes in here upside down. The neck comes out the bottom here. Slice on either side of the chicken's neck. So I'm not going to show that on camera, but I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick, and give me just a second. So now we're going to go ahead and let the chicken bleed out. It takes a couple of minutes, and he might start jumping around. That is just the nerves. It's no big deal. We just hold on to the feet and we wait until the blood stops dripping from the neck. All right, now we're just gonna let our chicken go ahead and bleed out. It might start jumping around and moving. That's completely normal. It's just the nerves. The chicken is not alive at this point. Takes a couple minutes for the chicken to bleed out. And there we go, we got a little bit of movement there. Once the chicken is fully bled out, we will go ahead and go over to our scalder, and I'll show you guys that process. All right, once our chicken has bled out, we come over here to our scalder, which is just a big pot of hot water that is at 150 degrees. You don't want it over that because you can start to cook your chicken at that point, and we just want to loosen the feathers up. So we're gonna dip this chicken in here for 30 seconds. We want to move it around so that all the feathers loosen up. You can check by pulling on the feathers, and they're starting to come off super easy there. It's just a few more seconds. All right, our chicken is ready, so now we're gonna go over and put it through the plucker. So as you can see, the plucker does a pretty good job. It doesn't get everything though, so we're just going to remove the extra feathers. They come off pretty easy. All right. The next step is we're going to start at the feet, and I like to just cut between the joint here, and the feet come right off. You can keep those. They make great broth or great dog treats even. Okay, then we're going to flip the chicken over, and there's an oil gland on the back right here, and we're just going to take that off. I like to hold on to the oil gland and then just cut from the top, just like that. Okay, flip the chicken back over, and we're gonna pull from here. I'm gonna make a slit right there, and then we're just gonna open the bird up. I'm gonna take my hand and put it inside the bird, and we're just gonna loosen everything from the top. You wanna go all the way into the cavity of the bird and get your hands around the heart. Then you're gonna cup your hand and just pull the innards out. Just like that. You want to pull everything out. Okay, and then once you have those pulled, you're going to want to grab the lungs. There's one lung there. Okay, and there is the second lung. Okay, now we're just going to pull this off to the side here so we don't cut it. This is the intestines here, so that is manure in here, and we do not want that inside our bird. So I pull it off to the side here, and then we're going to cut right around the vent on this side, pull this over to the other side, and cut around the vent on the other side. All right, and now we're just going to cut this out right here. There we go. Now we have the innards removed. There are some pieces that we like to keep. We like to keep the heart. That's good, covered in flour and fried or dried and made into dog treats. They're great. We also have the gizzard here. I'm not too fond of this. This mainly becomes dog food, or we grind it down when we're grinding down meat and add it to hamburger and stuff. The texture's really chewy. My husband loves them, but I don't. We also like to keep the liver here. Now the liver does have a bile gland right here. It's a little green piece, and that is very easily broken. So what you want to do, you don't want to bust that. So I pinch the top of it, and then I pull it away from the liver. There we go. And now we have a clean liver ready to put in our freezer. Okay, once you have everything cleaned, the next step is to make a slit right here in the neck where we're going to pull out the crop. Ideally, you want to withhold feed for at least 12 hours before processing. Our chickens, they are on pasture, so they have access to fresh grass and everything. So if we take a look inside the crop here, you can see full pieces of grass. It's pretty cool. And then you can see the grain in here as well. There's some hay, little pieces of corn. Pretty neat. All right, and then the next step here is also the windpipe you want to remove. So I just get my finger around that and pull. Okay, and then we pull the head off instead of cutting the head off, just so that we don't get as many jagged edges. All right, now our bird is ready to be washed and put in the cooling tank. You get your bird completely rinsed. You can put it in cool water. Now it goes in here. This is just our straight well water. There hasn't been any ice or anything put in this. This is just to initially start cooling them down, get any remaining blood off. You can see there's an oil layer of skin that is on the chickens that comes off. So we let them sit in here for about a half an hour to an hour, and then we move them into the ice tank. Hey guys, good afternoon, welcome back. Today we are cleaning our chicken gizzards from the chickens that we processed yesterday, and I wanted to show you guys how we do that. So after we're done processing, we go ahead and we bag up all of our chicken gizzards and we put them in the refrigerator. A cold gizzard is a lot easier to clean than a warm gizzard. So I'm just going to slice around the gizzard with a sharp knife. And for those of you asking, this is an outdoor edge razor knife. It has razor blades that are replaceable. I'm not good at sharpening knives, so that's how I do it. Anyways, we're just going to open up the gizzard here. And inside of a gizzard is actually pretty cool because it is full of tiny little rocks that act as the chicken's teeth, because a chicken does not actually have teeth like you and I do. So the food goes down the chicken's throat and into the crop. The crop moistens everything up, and then it goes into the glandular stomach where it gets a whole bunch of stomach acid added to it and digestive enzymes, stuff like that. And then it moves into the gizzard here, and that is where the real breakdown begins with all these little rocks. And it just crushes the food before it moves on into the intestines. But look at how crushed that is. That's amazing. Anyways, we want to get that out of there, and we want to remove this lining here. So we're going to grab on here and just start pulling. And this is the part that makes a difference. When the gizzard is warm, this part is really hard to pull out, but when the gizzard is cold, it comes out fairly easily. There we go. So that is a clean gizzard there. We just need to rinse everything off of here, and then it's ready to cook and eat or throw in the freezer and save for later.